Hey folks, I'm Rosie from the front of the ABRSM book, and I'm going to chat to you a little bit about Timpani Grade 1. So before you play, you want to make sure you're set up nice and right. Low drum on the left, smaller drum on the right. Whether you're sitting or you're standing, make sure you're up nice and straight. You don't want to be slouching when you're playing the timps. If you're sitting, have your knees relaxed, falling away from your body, almost at right angles. If you're standing, make sure you're up nice and tall, not leaning on either leg. Back straight, arms relaxed. Hold the stick between the thumb and the forefinger. That's hard to say. Hold the stick between your thumb and your forefinger. You want to be able to use the weight of the stick, so if your hand is too far towards the head, you won't be able to hit right. That said, you shouldn't have your hand falling off the end either. Just a little bit, maybe an inch or a sort of a thumb's length at the bottom. Depends how you've learned, but normally back to the hands up. Some people play with their thumbs on top too, the French style, but whatever you've learned is the best way. You want to be playing right around here, which is where your palm sits. It's tempting to play right in the middle of the drum, but that gives such a different sound. Wherever you're playing, try and make sure it's consistent. If one hand's too far in, you'll get a really different sound. So just practice hitting the right spot each time you change drums. Ceremonial is a lovely piece, really stately. Imagine soldiers marching around or the Queen just walking in. We want to have big dynamic contrasts. The loud should be loud, the quiet should be really delicate and quiet. Even when you're playing quietly, make sure you have lots of control. Sometimes people let go of the sticks to play quietly, but really we want a nice tight grip to get those quiet sounds too. In that opening bar, make sure you damp. We don't want to hear. We want to hear that silence. Popping your fingers, I use my lower 3 just to stop that sound, stop it ringing on. Bar 9, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So make sure you start those phrases with your right hand so your left is ready to go down to the lower one. But a couple of bars later, try starting that with your left hand so it's your right hand that's free to go up. Pay close attention to the rhythms in bar 5. They might look the same, but there's a variation in there, so make sure you're always watching out for those different rhythms. Tumbledown Mountain by David Hext. You go off on your own to begin, so make sure your duo partner's ready. There should be eye contact, maybe breathing together, so that once you hit that second beat, they're ready to play too. And listen to each other. You want to have a good balance. Even though the timpani is the starring instrument, both roles are really important, so don't play too loud or too quiet. Record yourself and have a listen back. That way you can tell whether you're in balance with each other. The last 3 notes should be nice and staccato. Make sure they're really pointy. Don't want to have those ringing on and into each other. When you've got those half bar rests, so 2 beat rests in bars 8 or 10, make sure you really give them their full value worth, counting in your head to make sure you don't come in too early. Baroque Notes by Wright. It's a fun one for practicing your single strokes, so make sure your rights and your lefts sound the same everywhere. Whenever they come up in semiquavers, just stay nice and relaxed. Sometimes the less dominant hand, for me that's my left, gets a bit lazy, so keep them both really energized when you're playing those faster semiquavers. We get some fun damping in here as well. Bar 6. We want to hear silence in that. Make sure you're damping exactly in the beat as well. Your damping should be just as rhythmic as your strokes. We don't want to hear. Bar 27, got a nice diminuendo through semiquavers, so even more practice of those single stroke rolls. Make sure that rhythm in the next one snaps. Bung, ga-dung, ga-dung. 1E and a 2E and a 3. Make sure you have a listen to some Baroque music to think about what inspired this, maybe Handel's Messiah. Timpani have been around for such a long time, it's great to hear their music in different contexts. Study A is a nice exercise in timp crossing. Now we've got 2 drums, you want to make sure we're always ready to play the right one, or the left one. That was a joke. Now we've got That's such a stupid take. Instead of leaping about with one hand, it's really important to use both one after another. You need to work backwards from that new note that you need to play and work out where you need to be. Luckily, the stickings help you out. So in opening, we need to play our left hand on our left drum, so we need to start with our right hand to be prepared. Similarly, we flip it over and we start with our left hand. Make sure you're just as comfortable starting with your right or your left hand, because you never know what's going to come up in the next piece of music. Make sure your dynamics are really clear. We've only got forte and piano, so try and make your second forte exactly the same dynamic as your first forte. Study B means that you need to have lots of patience. Breathe through those longer notes so you're ready to take away those semiquavers. Start quietly. Sometimes when you're nervous, you play loudly by accident, but make sure you start nice and quiet so you've got a whole range to get louder throughout the piece. Each phrase has a really clear ending, so damp super clearly and it'll help you stay in time. Make sure that damping is just like a beat. Crotchet, damp. With these studies, make sure you take particular care to start with the right hand. As long as you start off on the right hand, the rest of it will flow quite easily.